What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about OnyxCoin today, XCN USD. Here we are, my friends, at about $0.00547 with 10 hours left in this day. It is the 19th day of November. We've had a little bit of a wick to the downside with yesterday's price action. We're up today. I guess we're neutral. That's nice. We're neutral in a sea of red things. It's nice to be amongst the non-red things, but we were up a little bit more. Now we're back down. I want to look at the short-term stuff and zoom out from here. We really do have a promising prospect of this being a low. It is possible that we go a little bit lower. I do want to address that, right? I mean, we've interacted here. I should actually probably just put a line there. We've interacted here now. Come on. Oh, it's just doing a little dance. With these prior areas of resistance here, which are somewhat insignificant, to be completely fair, in the grand scale of things. It is somewhat insignificant, but as far as this looks on a weekly time frame, that is at least the first logical area that we could depend on to find support. It is possible that we're finding support at this area of resistance as well, so maybe we go a little bit lower first before we move higher. Or perhaps we're finding support there now and we're front running it. We're buying ahead of time, but lower prices are possible. There are significant areas of resistance, support back here, resistance there, closing resistance. We could go lower, but so far this week is looking a little bit more promising than some of the more recent weeks that we've had, right? We've got 4 days left in this week. We could very well come back up and close the week green. We've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is the 7th week in a row being red, if it is red. I'm actually kind of curious. Have we seen 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? And then the 7th week was neutral green. Isn't that funny? And then we continue to roll down. Maybe we've got 3 more weeks of downside to go, or 4 more weeks technically of downside. I don't know. I don't think that's what's going to play out. But looking at this here, it's definitely a promising week, finding support at this prior resistance point here. I want to look at the 1 hour time frame and then zoom out from there. I don't know why we're all the way out here on the weekly time frame. I don't know what happened. I feel like I just got like distracted. But looking at the 1 hour time frame, looking at the RSI here, we are showing strength right now. Okay, we're actually doing things a little bit differently. I think it's obvious, right? We are doing things differently here than we have done in our recent past. We're actually finding support at the 50, where instead back here we were kind of finding resistance at it. We're barely getting above it. To be completely fair, we found support at it here. The difference here in what we want to see here is that you had a lower high. Here we want to see a higher high. And then also, of course, you're getting stronger readings here versus back here. So there is some potential there. But it's not that we need to hold this 50 as support, but it would just be nice to start living above the 50 rather than living below the 50 predominantly, right? If we can maintain readings, the more readings we maintain above the 50, the better, I think. And especially if we can get into that overbought zone, which we haven't seen since the 10th of November, at least on the 1 hour time frame, which is pretty sad. Stochastics are oversold, but we're in the oversold zone now. I mean, it's not like we have lower to go. We could very well bounce from here. That's not a bad look there. And the MACD did cross above the 0. We've got a slight partial cross to the downside. Makes me think that we are gearing up to move higher. I like this. I like this look. I want to see if we can find an example of this exact thing. Kind of here. You crossed, but you weren't crossing. Where here we were actually crossed above the 0. Let's see if I can find an example of this. Yeah, something like this, right? Where you crossed above the 0, you had a partial cross down, but you kept running. You see your oscillators kept running. Now, did the price keep running? Yes, but just slightly. You're at a slight tilt to the upside. But still, growth is growth. And the more growth that we get here, the more that we validate that this is a low, I think the better off that we'll be overall. But overall, these indicators, what I'm seeing from the RSI is it looks a little bit different than it has over the past week, in a good way, in a bullish way. What I'm seeing from the stochastics is we are at an area where it's acceptable to bounce, and the MACD, same thing, all suggesting that we have higher to go. Now, if we do go lower from here, I would expect that we don't go lower than this low, right? We probably take out this high before we take out this low. It's still possible that we take out this high and go lower than that low. But before we go below this low, we will take out this high. Does that make sense? I hope you can figure out the riddle of words there. It's really not a riddle. It's very straightforward, but it's a bunch of words. Sorry. You ever like scratch your arm and there's a zit on it and it hurts like hell because you scratched it and you didn't know that there was a zit? Yeah, that's what just happened to me. I was like scratching it and I'm like, ow. It actually hurt. What the hell was that? Oh, it was just a little bit of arm acne. Anyways, 4 hour time frame here. finding support. Finding support at the same areas you found support, but overall, man, you look terrible. You just look so bad on your 4 hour time frame. The stochastics look like they want to continue going higher, and the MACD, there's no bullish divergence, kind of with the oscillators, but I don't know. Oscillator divergence doesn't really play out as often. Like here, you had oscillator divergence. No, I guess a little bit right here, but it didn't do anything. Here, kind of, and it did do something to the downside, but there might have been other things at play. You are crossing up. The MACD, in my opinion, is not saying that we're going to see any kind of magnificent rip. Though, to be fair, OnyxCoin kind of just has these surprise rallies that come. So if we do get one, cool. But it does suggest that we have a little bit of steady growth to go. So we probably do retrace a little bit from here. I want to take the high to low of the most recent pivot right here. High to low here, and just see. We probably do move our way up to 0062, 007, something like that. I'm not really getting excited for the price action until we're back above 007. Whenever we get above here, that's whenever things will be a little bit more exciting. Things get very exciting when we're back above 1 cent, but we're ways away from there, right? I mean, right now, 1 cent is practically a 100% move, or like an 80, like a 90% move, I would think. Let's see. 1 cent is exactly, I guess it is, it's like an 84% move. Stochastic suggests that we go higher. The RSI is bad, but I would think we do go higher. I mean, just look at, first off, it's really bad because how much time have we spent above this line? Not much. Most of it's below the line. But on a positive note, how often do we find resistance right here that upholds, right? Maybe for a little bit when you're oversold, but we've been oversold about just as long here as we were here. This is not the area that you find resistance. Typically, we come up and we find resistance at the 60 area or just below or just above there, right? So we probably do move higher. RSI, stochastics, and the MACD, they're all saying the same thing. They're not saying that the low is in. They're not saying we're going to explode, though that can happen at any moment. OnyxCoin does its thing. At any moment, it could explode. Right? We get massive candles like this at any moment. You never know. It's just kind of a surprise attack when that happens. It's been a little while, so maybe we're overdue. But what they're all suggesting is if the price behaves accordingly, would be that we probably do just move up at a steady pace, probably back to this 0063 to 0073 area. We're at 0054 right now, so nothing crazy, but that is a nice little lift. That should take us, 20% pump, 30% pump, something like that. Daily time frame. Looking at this here, we do have some very nice bullish divergence. And, oh wow, I wish we started the video off with this. We'd have a little bit more excitement. Lower lows, higher lows in the RSI, but it's official that it's bullish divergence because we have a green candle close here, which would imply then that we do move up to about 0063. So good, we have our range properly defined. Likely we're going to see a move that's above that. So likely from here, 00547, there will be a greater than 20% pump, I would think, over the coming days. That's my thought. Based on the 4, I mean, it could be today. We got 9 hours and 42 minutes left. It could be by the end of today that we see that. Ooh. That is not happy. Oh, that hurt so bad. It's the worst. It happens on my head. You guys ever scratch your head? I feel like that's where those random zits come in. I like scratch my head. It's a really good scratch, and then boom, you just get the wrong. Oh, does that ever happen? Anybody? No. Bueller, am I talking to the sky? Looking at the stochastics, we are crossing up. Okay, we are crossed up, and both of these oscillators today, if we close here or higher, will be out of the oversold zone, which is a good thing typically, right? Whenever we got out of the oversold zone here, that was this day. We moved up a little bit. We got out of the oversold zone here. That was this day. We had a big wick up, but we didn't really move up too much, but we did move up a little bit. It's something to get a little bit excited about, but again, nothing validating that the low is in. The bullish divergence on the RSI is nice. The bullish divergence on the MACD is nice, but again, we're not really excited. I mean, I'm not really excited until we're above this level. Until we're above about 1.4 cents. Somebody made the point. They're like, you used to say you'd get excited about getting above 2 cents. Now you're saying it's 1.3 cents. Why do you keep lowering the price? Because if we go lower, like at one point we'd be excited about getting above this high, right? But that's so far away, and I'll still be excited if we get above this high. But just understand, as we go lower, there's other key areas that come into play, and we will be very excited when we break above 2 cents. We will be very excited when we break above these highs. But right now, it's 1.4 cents. That's the price to kind of pay attention to. Until then, we could move up to 1 cent above. We could still come back down and see a lower low, get some bullish divergence, and then make our drive, right? We're not really too excited until we get above 1.4 cents, until we get above this level. But from here, to be fair, if you want a little bit of excitement, a 20 to 40% pump is probably coming our way, I would assume, over the coming days. So by the end of this week, maybe. If not sometime next week, between now and next week. But as far as is this the low, I'm not completely convinced yet. The one thing that has me a little bit optimistic is the fact that we do have so many red weeks in a row. It might be the low. We are finding support at prior resistance here. We do have the XCN BTC chart. I mean, this, I like finishing the videos off talking about XCN BTC because it's one of the more promising aspects of this chart. Oops, that's not what I meant to do. I mean, when you have severe bullish divergence, look at this too. The bearish momentum is decaying. This just validates this momentum is real, and that whenever it pops, whenever it shifts, I mean, likely with this bullish divergence, we're not just going to get a play that's upwards, but we're going to get the oscillators, the blue and orange line, to cross back above the zero. You've got bullish divergence and impending cross above the zero level here with the oscillators. There's multiple bullish things to look forward to on this weekly time frame. You've been moving down. You've been red longer here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 weeks now. This is the 9th week down. Bearish for longer. Bullish divergence on the stochastics as well, dating back to these levels. I mean, if we just get a pop, a little standard pop back to where the divergence formed, which is all the way up here, that's like a 63% pop versus Bitcoin. That's likely going to promote a 100% move or more versus OnyxCoin. I mean, soon enough, guys. This is on the weekly time frame. It doesn't have to be this week, but soon enough. You know, if not by the end of the month of November, then sometime in December, sometime early in December, we should be making headway back above 1 cent. And then at that rate, 1.35 cents is very, very close. I mean, who's to say that this move, because it's supposed to go at least here, who's to say that it stops here? What if it goes higher? We get a 100% move versus Bitcoin. We're likely going to get a much larger move than that versus the US dollar. I mean, 150% could be where we go. We are one step away from interacting with this first key level to really get excited about, which is 1.4 cents. All that step that has to be taken here is that this divergence on the MACD and on the stochastics plays out. That's it. And that might not seem that significant. Looking at this chart, it's like, okay, 100% pump, but look at all the dumping that you've got. Yeah, that's fair. But imagine we play that out on the US dollar pair. Imagine OnyxCoin is here. We're above this level, right? Whoops. Let me draw a straight line here. Let me use a straight line. At that point, we've broken out of our downtrend, right? At that point, it's safe to say, right, we've broken out of our downtrend. Sure, it's a lower high still, technically, but once we get above 1.4 cents, it's not a lower high anymore. So we get above 1.4 cents, we're both breaking out of our trend line. Let me put this right here. Trend line, and we're taking out a high, giving a higher high for the first time in months and so long, since the beginning of this year. That would be a very massive signal. So we are just imagine this in case you're missing the point, right? Because some people might be listening to this and they might be like, oh, 150% pump. That's nice. It is nice. That is nice. But think about it in a full sense. What does this mean, right? We are one step away. All we got to see is bullish divergence play itself out on the weekly time frame. Weekly time frame is very powerful, okay? All we have to do is see this bullish divergence play out, and then XCN is put in a position where it's effectively breaking out of this downtrend that it's been in since January. What comes next, right? Is it just a 150% move that we have to look forward to at that point? Or now are we breaking structure? Are we breaking bearish structure? Are we breaking out potentially to higher levels? That's the thought. That's the perspective shift there, right? OnyxCoin is a scam. It's C-Zar scam coin. He owns all of it, and he's dumping on his fans. That's what's happening. And then it pumps. OnyxCoin's the best thing ever. Why did we ever doubt it? I wish I bought more, right? It's just a little perspective shift. I hope everybody's aware that whenever I just said that stuff, I was making fun of the trolls, because I don't own all the Onyx coins. If I did, we wouldn't have a 30% APR. Yeah, we wouldn't have 30% staking rewards right now, because I would have voted against it. But we didn't get my way, did we? Anyways, hit the like button, subscribe. I don't think I have anything else that I want to say. We can go lower. I just don't think we will. But if we do, we're not going to go down too much more, okay? And likely from here, at the very least, 0.0547, even if we do go lower, likely from here we'll at least get like a 20 to 30% pop up to 2 zeros. I said 6.3, but I want to raise it a little bit. Let's say 2.064 to 2.074, somewhere in that range. Hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one, okay? Take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.